You're doing it all wrong. You're using your personal credit to fund your business. You're maxing out credit cards, you're tanking your credit score, you're looking bad out here. So in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to properly structure your business for business funding. There's entirely too many people applying for funding without properly being structured on the personal and business side. Let's talk about your DDE. That stands for determine, document, and establish. What you're gonna do here is determine your certified funding entity identity. Then you're going to document your certified funding entity identity. And finally, you're going to establish your certified funding entity identity. Now, your certified funding entity is the business that you're going to use at the bank to get the business funding. There's a few things that you need to do before you even apply for business credit, business funding, or even setting up a new business. Let's talk about it. Part one is to determine your CFE identity. And there's 5 steps to determining your CFE identity. Step 1 is the industry type. You want to go into funding with the mindset of funding. Everybody picks a business and goes out there and starts operating, and then they go to the bank and wonder why they're getting denied for funding. It's because you're not structured for funding. So before you even go to the bank, or even before you start your LLC or INC, you want to keep in mind that at one time or another, you're going to be sitting in front of a bank teller or a bank representative, and they're going to scrutinize your business. So therefore, we like to pick industries where they're bank facing. For all those that's out there that don't understand bank facing, that means you could go to the bank with this business and be accepted by the bank, and they'll be willing to give you loans or give you business lines of credit and credit cards because your industry type fits the bill. So I don't really know what your industry may be, but there's a few that you want to stay away from, like real estate, transportation, construction, and definitely the marijuana business. If you're thinking about doing any of these businesses, you need to be structured where when you go to the bank and they ask you what industry type you're in, you're not stating one of these. You can use things like consulting, management, or even marketing, and you'll be bank facing. Step 2 is you got to figure out a name. Just as important as the industry type, your name could easily get you denied for funding. Okay, so stay away from high-risk names that include those high-risk industries. Okay, so now when you go out after that name, you want to establish that name with the Secretary of State, and also make sure that that name is available with a URL, right? That's your domain. So now you don't want to go down to the Secretary of State and see that, hey, ABC Solutions is available, but ABC Solutions is not available for a website. You want both of them to be available. Remember, this is the determining stage. This is not even applying for it yet, just determine it. Step 3 is your address. Your address also can get you denied for funding. I would stay away from addresses like UPS boxes, commercial boxes, and definitely your home address. Now, don't beat me up. I know some people get approved for funding using their home addresses. But what you don't realize is your business is actually a public record, okay? They can look up your business, find out who's responsible for this business, the principal on this business, and that includes the address on this business. So if you're using your home address, then someone has identified your home as your business, okay? I don't like my home address out there, so I don't suggest you use it. The best addresses to use is a virtual address or a dedicated office. If the dedicated office is outside of your budget, then just go ahead and use a virtual office like Regis or Opus. Step 4, your phone and email. Stop using your personal cell phone number as your business phone number, okay? Unless that cell phone is registered under that business. Otherwise, you want to establish a 1-800 number or a local number with companies like Vonage, Freedom Voice, or even Ring Central, okay? Now, once you establish that phone number, you want to establish a business email. It shouldn't be an at Yahoo or at Hotmail or at AOL or even at Gmail. You want something like your name or your info at yourbusiness.com. Mine is Prada at convenientconsulting.com. You can use something like that. Step 5, your business purpose. Your business purpose can also get you approved or denied for funding. So you want to make sure that you have a clear and concise business purpose that doesn't contradict any of the things that we just determined, right? That's like the industry type and the name. You want everything to be aligned. Be intentional about your business purpose, because this information will be used once you establish your LLC or your INC, and it also will be used to categorize your business for funding. Step 6 is to determine your SIC code and your NAICS code. Your SIC stands for Standard Industrial Classification, and your NAICS stands for North American Industrial Classification System. Now, these codes will determine what category your business sits in, and that also can determine whether or not you get approved or denied for that loan or line of credit. Part 2, we're going to document your certified funding entity identity, and there's 5 steps to do so. So step 1, file your LLC or INC with the Secretary of State using the certified funding entity identity that you've just created when we determined. Okay, so this means when you document this information or you establish your LLC or your INC with the Secretary of State, make sure you use that address, the phone number, the email, everything that you established when we determined in part 1. And if you already have established your LLC or INC, then you need to amend this information with the certified entity identity. Step 2, you want to establish your EIN number. Now, if you've already established your EIN number, you want to amend your EIN number with the same details that we determined in part 1. Step 3, apply for your DUNS number. You can do this at dnb.com. It's a free application. You don't need to purchase anything on the website. Step 4, you want to update all of your business credit reports with your certified funding entity identity that we determined in part 1. And that's with your Dun & Bradstreet credit reports, that's your Equifax business credit reports, and your Experian business credit reports. Step 5, you're going to update all of your banking relationships and your business accounts with your certified funding entity identity. Call up all your banks or go online and give them all the information we determined in part 1. So now all of your accounts and anything that's reporting any information on your business are synchronized. This information should be synchronized so you don't get flagged or denied for funding when they pull these reports. Now, we're at establish. Now we're going to establish your certified funding entity online presence. And step 1 is to update or create your Better Business Bureau profile. Okay, that's at bbb.com. Step 2, you're going to create or update your 411 listing with listyourself.net. This allows anyone that's Googling or searching your phone number to find your number in your company. Step 3, you want to establish your website or landing page. This website or landing page could be as simple as you want or as elaborate as you want. Step 4, and the final step of establishing your online presence, is to establish a Google listing and a Bing listing. Now, these listings will allow anyone searching you to find you. These are the steps that I use on all of my businesses and my clients' businesses to get them properly structured for funding. Make sure you go through 1 through 3, part 1 through 3. That's the DDE, determine, document, and establish, and make sure you let me know how you got that bag. Let's get back.